And welcome to another episode of Hazardous Verbal Waste. I'm your host, Shira-chan. Today is April 14th, 2019. Got a lot of cool stuff to cover this week, so let's get right down to it, shall we? In Yu-Gi-Oh! News, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments to penalize players for being smelly. Konami is cracking down on poor hygiene at its official Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG tournaments, with the implementation of a new rule that penalizes players if they or their clothes are dirty or bad smelling. The new rule, posted to the official Yu-Gi-Oh! Blog as part of a wider tournament policy update, can be found under a subsection labeled Hygiene. It reads, "This is a new section requiring all persons attending a tournament to be clean and wear clean clothing. If you or your clothing is excessively dirty or bad smelling, you can be penalized." The new rule appears to be a welcome policy update, judging by players' reactions online. A post linking to the new policy on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Subreddit is overwhelmingly, if not entirely, filled with messages of support. Best Timeline reads the post's top comment. Another comment, however, poses a valid question. How will the smell rule be enforced? It's likely that will be left to the discretion of the judges, though the subjectivity of stink may lead to controversy. That's all we have for Yu-Gi-Oh! This week. On to the next segment. In Pokemon news, Pokemon Go could be adding Armored Mewtwo. A surprising Pokemon might be coming to Pokemon Go in the near future. Earlier this week, the popular data miner Kralls reported that the most recent version of Pokemon Go contains code for a Mewtwo-A. Many Pokemon experts speculate that this is a reference to Armored Mewtwo, a rumored new form of Mewtwo that could be added as part of Pokemon Sword and Shield. No other information was made available for Armored Mewtwo other than it will have some sort of special intro inside the game. While rumors suggest that an Armored Mewtwo form could be a feature of Pokemon Sword and Shield, this new Mewtwo could also be a tie-in to the upcoming Pokemon the Movie Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. The new movie, which will be released in Japan, is a CGI remake of the first Pokemon movie, which also briefly featured Mewtwo in armor when it was being controlled by Team Rocket. If an Armored Mewtwo is being added to Pokemon Go, we could see it as soon as June. The new Pokemon seems like the perfect culmination for the upcoming Pokemon Go Fest live events, which will take place over the summer. We'll have to see if Armored Mewtwo is simply a new tie-in for a movie, something that Pokemon Go has done before, or if it's a tease for a bigger edition of the Pokemon franchise, similar to Pokemon Go teasing the addition of Meltan months before the release of the Pokemon Let's Go games. That's pretty much all we have for Pokemon news this week. On to the next segment. In Nintendo news, new Switch Pro controllers feature stunning Nintendo designs, and they're $20 cheaper. The Nintendo Switch may cost only $300, but the pricing of its accessories is no joke. The Pro controller, which is an essential upgrade for the best Switch experience, can cost a whopping $70 on its own. It's an excellent controller that's worth the investment, but for those on a tight budget, there's an alternative option that'll save you some cash and add a little color to your gaming setup. PowerA's officially licensed controllers for the Switch. PowerA has been making third-party controllers for years and has released wired Switch Pro controllers in the past, but the company recently started producing enhanced wireless controllers with Bluetooth connectivity that sell for $20 less than the first-party controllers. The enhanced wireless controllers cost $50 and come with two AA batteries that provide up to 30 hours of gameplay. The officially licensed controllers have a similar ergonomic design to the first-party Pro controllers, and they come in a range of stunning designs, with some featuring iconic Nintendo characters like Zelda, Link, and Mario. Now, there's no rumble or NFC reader, but the wireless controllers do have motion controls. PowerA also still sells wired Switch Pro controllers for just $30, and those are available in various designs as well. You can buy some of PowerA's Switch controllers on Amazon for slightly cheaper. Others you can buy directly from PowerA's website. With wireless Bluetooth capabilities and motion controls, PowerA's new enhanced controllers will provide a gaming experience that's truly comparable to the first-party Pro controllers and still at a discount. And $50 or less for a licensed wireless controller designed for the newest console on the market? Can't argue with that. Also in Nintendo news, Nintendo adds VR content to Super Mario and Legend of Zelda games. Nintendo has announced its newest Labo kit for the Switch, the Nintendo Labo VR Kit, which will give gamers the opportunity to build their own VR headsets. As part of Nintendo's popular line of DIY cardboard construction kits that have gamers build their own accessories for the Switch, the Labo VR Kit will come with buildable accessories including Toy-Con goggles, camera, bird, wind pedal, elephant, and blaster. The goggles will let players immerse themselves in classic Switch games like never before, with Nintendo releasing a video showing new VR functionality for Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Both titles will receive free software updates at the end of the month to allow VR functionality through Breath of the Wild's VR feature and will require a new save file for the enhanced experience. In addition to offering players the chance to get a deeper look at the game's imaginative settings, Super Mario Odyssey's VR mode will come with 3 additional mini-missions for players to obtain music notes through the enhanced view. The Nintendo Labo VR kit goes on sale on April 12th, so if it's on sale now for $79.99. The VR updates for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey will be available on April 25th. So if you haven't already, you might want to go ahead and pick up the Labo VR kit now so that when the new software updates land, you're ready to go. Also in Nintendo news, Nintendo Switch Online app update out now, version 1.5. The Nintendo Switch Online mobile app has been updated. On both iOS and Android, version 1.5 has gone live. Nintendo says it has implemented various performance and usability, such as changing the button display position. The patch also includes bug fixes. To use the Nintendo Switch Online app, you'll now need to have iOS 10 or later. Android users will need to be on version 5 or higher going forward. That's pretty much all we have for Nintendo news this week. On to the next segment. Before we get to our next segment, a quick word from our sponsors. You know, when I'm hungry and I want something to eat, but there's nothing prepared in the house, it sucks. But with Blue Apron, I don't have to worry about having to go to the grocery store, portioning out the ingredients. Everything is done for me. You simply choose your meals. Their chef design recipes include balanced Mediterranean meals, quick one-pan dinners, and top-rated customer favorites. They guarantee the freshness of all their ingredients and deliver them in an insulated box right to your door. Following the step-by-step instructions, you'll experience the magic of cooking recipes that their chefs create with your family's tastes in mind. I know it's super easy for me to do. I can't cook worth a darn, but with their instructions and all the ingredients perfectly portioned out, I'm a chef. So if you want to try out Blue Apron for yourself, go to blue-apron.evyy.net/HVW podcast and you can save $60 over your first 3 boxes. Sign up now at blue-apron.evyy.net/HVW podcast. Again, that's blue-apron.evyy.net/HVW podcast and start cooking. In gaming news, Gears 5 dev teases something entirely new for the series. Details on the upcoming installment in the Gears of War franchise have been rather scarce, but that doesn't mean we don't get a little something from time to time. The Coalition have been pretty adamant on letting fans of the series know that they haven't come to play when it comes to the development of Gears 5, with studio head Rod Ferguson stating last year that the upcoming title will be something players haven't seen before. To add to this, Ferguson recently posted a photo online hinting at something entirely new for the series. Taking to Instagram, Ferguson posted the image along with a caption that reads, "Today, I'm getting to do something I've never had the chance to do on a Gears of War game before." Unfortunately, that's as far as the details go, as he is simply teasing fans of things to come. There's no denying that Gears fans are on the hunt for answers regarding this photo, especially considering it's fairly vague. Then again, this might have something to do with Ferguson's comments from last year about how the studio is doing their best to leave their mark on the Gears of War franchise. Quoting, "What we wanted to do for 4 was just re-establish the franchise and establish the Coalition as a legitimate studio," Ferguson said. "And we've been embraced by fans, and they loved Gears 4, and we feel like we've accomplished that goal. So now, Gears 5 is about bringing the Coalition's personality to the game. Now we're going to see a bunch of innovation, a bunch of change, a bunch of things that are really exciting, that are really different, but still feel very Gears of War." Needless to say, Gears 5 is shaping up to be a different beast than what fans would expect. Here's to hoping we learn more in the coming months, as the title is set to arrive on PC and Xbox One at some point in 2019. Also in gaming news, rumor, Halo Infinite is currently the biggest and most expensive project in gaming. The rumor mill has struck again, this time claiming that 343 Industries' Halo Infinite is currently the biggest and most expensive game in development, with a budget of over $500 million, which doesn't even include marketing costs. That's right. There's a rumor/report currently floating around that claims the next installment in the Halo series is splurging $500 million on just development costs. The report comes way of German outlet Xbox Dynasty, where it's claimed that Halo Infinite's development costs currently dwarf even the likes of Rockstar Games' Red Dead Redemption 2. For those that don't know, Rockstar Games is well known for dumping more resources into their games than basically everyone else in the industry. But apparently, Microsoft has given 343 Industries a blank check. Of course, there's a multitude of reasons this should be taken with the biggest grain of salt you can find. For one, their resource, Xbox Dynasty, doesn't have any history of reliable scoops. In other words, this isn't Kotaku or Wall Street Journal, and that matters. Second, it's difficult to imagine Microsoft would greenlight 343 Industries to spend over $500 million just in development costs. If the $500 million included marketing costs, that would be one thing. But what the heck could 343 Industries be making that it needs to spend that kind of money? 3. Halo Infinite is a shooter. Sure, 343 Industries has talked about the game as a step forward for the series. In fact, there's been plenty of chatter from 343 itself and reports elsewhere hyping up the game's ambition. But we're talking Halo. It's going to be a shooter at heart, and the most expensive shooters in history, Destiny, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, etc., have never eclipsed the $300 million mark, let alone $500 million. Unless this is going to be the most revolutionary shooter ever, just doesn't make any sense. That said, it's possible this rumor is accurate, or at least close to accurate. It's improbable, but it's possible. Last, you never know with the rumor mill. That's pretty much all we have for gaming news this week. On to the next segment. In tech news, Tesla could outfit Model S and X with more efficient motors. Tesla is reportedly planning a powertrain upgrade for its Model S sedan and Model X SUV based on technology developed for the Model 3. The new motors, which would give the EVs more range and boost power output, could arrive soon and help reinvigorate sales. Sources familiar with the matter tell Electric that new motors designed for the vehicles, codenamed Raven, are permanent magnet reluctance motors similar to what the company developed for the Model 3. Current motors are of the AC induction variety. The publication's sources claim that the Model 3 motor can register an efficiency higher than 97% compared to just 93% for the Model S and Model X motors. The efficiency gap is said to be even greater in stop-and-go traffic. The newer design could add up to a few dozen additional miles of range to each vehicle line and bump performance figures slightly. Could also accompany additional hardware upgrades to boost the charge rate, presumably resulting in faster recharges. Sources didn't have an exact date for when the change may occur, but said it could happen relatively soon. Given the recent dip in deliveries during the first quarter, now could be the perfect time for Tesla to enhance the desirability of its Model S and Model X. Tesla is also rumored to be working on an interior design refresh due out in the second half of 2019. Also in tech news, Google accidentally revealed its mid-range Pixel 3a phone is on the way. Google just can't stop info about its Pixel phones from leaking, can it? It happened several times last year ahead of the Pixel 3's launch, and now the latest news about the handset's successor comes from Google itself. 9to5 Google noticed that the company accidentally listed its upcoming mid-range phone, the Pixel 3a, on its site last week. That indicates that the new device could launch real soon. Both the Pixel 3a and Pixel 3a XL, names that were confirmed in an Android Q listing, were listed on Google Play Developer Console last week under codenames Sargo and Bonito. The listing on Google's store site confirmed that the smaller variant will have a 5.6-inch screen with a resolution of 1080 by 2220 pixels, and the larger model will sport a 6-inch screen maxing out at 1080 by 2160 pixels. Both phones will have a modest 4GB of RAM. Earlier leaks have suggested that both devices are likely to be powered by a mid-range Qualcomm Snapdragon 670 processor and will have a 12-megapixel rear camera and an 8-megapixel front snapper. The devices will expectedly have eSIM, squeezable active edges, and Titan M security chip similar to the original Pixel 3. As of right now, there is no launch date for these phones, so hopefully Google will come out with that soon. In Apple news, Supply Chain Report states Apple is launching a new premium iPhone range. We thought we knew everything about Apple's controversial new iPhone plans, but new information has blown that presumption out of the water. Citing trustworthy sources in Apple's Chinese supply chain, respected Japanese blog Mac Otakara has revealed the surprising news that Apple will release no fewer than 5 new iPhones this year. Alongside the expected iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max, and iPhone XR updates, Mac Otakara says Apple is preparing additional 6.1-inch and 6.5-inch models with OLED displays, thinner chassis, similar triple array cameras, but with larger sensors, reverse wireless charging, and bundled 18-watt Lightning to USB-C fast chargers. Mac Otakara previously stated the new XS, XS Max, and XSR updates will ship with slow chargers and identical chassis, while the XR will retain its cheaper LCD display, all of which indicates the introduction of a new flagship iPhone tier above the XS's, potentially the long-expected iPhone Pro range. So with this announcement of leaked information, we might be looking at a new iPhone Pro to go along with the iPad Pro and of course MacBook Pros. Perhaps a whole new Pro line. As more information on this develops, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Pretty much all we have for Apple news this week, and pretty much the news in general for this week. On to the final thoughts. Okay, so on to the final thoughts here. I just want to say that it's about darn time that Konami gets in on making sure that people don't stink when they're at conventions and major tournaments. I think it's pretty cool that Tesla is wanting to make their vehicles more efficient. Can't wait to see Gears 5 come out. Not a big fan of Halo, but hey, no one's a fan of everything. I think we got some pretty cool news this week. If you have any suggestions or comments, there are several ways you can get a hold of Hazardous Verbal Waste. You can email hazardousverbal@gmail.com. You can leave us a voicemail message through Skype. The Skype ID is Ichimoto1. You can get a hold of us through Twitter or Instagram. The Twitter handle is Tosi-sama. That's Tousisama. The Instagram is Hazardous Verbal. You can also check out the new website, hazardousverbal.com. There you'll find links to the episodes, links where you can subscribe through iTunes or Google Podcasts. You can even send us a message on the website through the contact page. There's a nice little contact form you can fill out. Let us know your thoughts. You can also email us a MP3 file of your thoughts, and if you do, I'll play them on the air. You can also get a hold of us through HVW Podcasts on Patreon. There you can subscribe for a low fee, as low as just $1. And by subscribing, you'll get exclusive content. And I'm even looking at getting some stickers and buttons made for swag for those of you who subscribe. That's pretty much all we have for this week. I'm Shira Chan signing off. Peace.